morning, boys and girls.
Good morning.
This is one of my most favorite days at William O. Schaefer. We get to celebrate you as first grade writers. And I say first grade writers because you guys came to first grade, you were already writers, right? You learned to write in kindergarten?
Yeah.
But now, I know you have your published pieces, your published stories, and you're getting ready to share them. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what you learned in first grade as writers. Who could think for a minute, don't raise your hand quickly, take a few minutes and think, and tell me what you learned in first grade as a writer. Think about what you were doing in kindergarten, and think about where you are now. And when you think you're ready to share, I'll come over to you so we can hear you. Oh. Now some friends might say something, and you might say, you know what, I learned that too. Instead of shouting me too, I'll show you a little symbol I learned. I just learned this last week. Sign language, if you want to say me too, does anybody know the symbol? You go like this. You want to practice? That's sign language. So if somebody says an idea, it's something that they learned, and you've learned that also, you can do sign language for me too. You can do this. Or you can do the symbol that your teachers do like this. So we don't have to shout me too, and then we get to hear all of what we learned in first grade as writers, okay? So I know one of my friends over here had an idea. What did you learn as a first grade writer?
Tapping out.
So what do you mean by tapping out? When do you tap out?
Like when a word's tricky, you go like, act.
Oh, I'm looking and I see that many friends have learned that. Excellent. Oh, everyone, right? What else have we learned as first grade writers? I'll go to my friend Joe.
You need to be able to read your stories.
You have to read your stories, and you have to reread your stories to make sure that they sound the way you want them to, right? And many of us have learned that too. Very good. Let's see, who else?
Get your mouth ready.
So what does that mean? Is that in writing or reading? What did you learn as a writer?
I always get my mouth ready.
So maybe when you're reading your story, when you're rereading it, you have to get your mouth ready. It's one of our reading strategies. What else have we learned as writers?
You need to put spaces.
You need spaces. Is that something you learned as a first grader? Who else?
You need to put periods.
Why do we need periods in our stories?
So the person who's reading it knows to stop.
Excellent. Very good. Anyone have any other ideas that are different?
You need to put spaces in it so it doesn't need to be all so much together.
Very good. We've heard someone say that before. Let's see if we have something different, something that you've learned that hasn't been said yet. Alex.
Make your illustrate be good.
How could they be good? What can we add to them?
If you're done, you could always just go back and finish and see if there's anything else you want to add to it.
Excellent. That is so important. That's important for our illustrations and our writing. We have to add details sometimes so we can give the reader more information and we can make our stories more interesting. So we can add those details in our pictures and we can add those details with adding words. Anything else?
The first letter has to be capital.
First letter in a sentence has to be capital, okay.
Your story has to match the words, your picture.
That is so important. What you're writing about has to match what your illustrations show, right? Very good. Anything that hasn't been said? Can you have a loud voice? Punctuation and periods, very good. And how do we fix up our writing? What can you ask yourself? If you want to fix up your writing, let's say you think you're done, and you want to fix up your writing, what are some things you can ask yourself as a writer? Excellent. Can I add more? Very important. Now, your teachers are so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And even though you published your first piece of writing, and you're going to get ready to share that, you're not done as writers, right? You're still going to grow as writers. You still have a lot of things to learn. And I'm sure you're setting goals for yourself. Does anyone have a goal that they want to learn as a first grade writer? Does anyone have a goal at the end of the year? Maybe they want to get something they want to get better at?
I want to get better at drawing pictures.
Very good. You want to get better at drawing pictures, maybe adding some more details?
And being a good writer.
You want to become a better writer? You want to keep learning? Anything else?
Stretching out words.
Continue stretching out those words that might be difficult to spell. Tyler, you want to scream now? You shout it?
Cool. I want to be able to play saxophone.
As a writer, what do you want to learn as a writer? Think about it. Better at your illustrations? Talking? Becoming more fluent when you're reading your stories? Very good. Well, I know that when I was going around and visiting in Writer's Workshop, and again, if this is what your story's about, you can show me silently if this was your topic too, but I know I've read many interesting stories. I've read stories about the playground. I've read stories about birthday parties. I've read stories about you two. Very good. I've read stories about soccer games. I've seen some other children wrote about that as well. I even read a story about a teacher who one day wore 2 different shoes to class. I won't embarrass her right now. So sometimes our stories are funny, and sometimes our stories are something that happens in our lives. It should be about something that happened to us, right? So. Right, so we write stories about things that have happened to us that we know a lot about, right? So I know you're getting ready to share your writing, and this day is very special because you get to share your writing every day with your first grade friends in your new first grade classrooms. But today you get to visit with your kindergarten friends. The class that you were in last year as kindergartners, you get to join those friends and share your stories with them. So I know today's a very special day, and we're going to get started and get ready in our kindergarten group. So I need you to be really, really good listeners. I'm going to call out a teacher's name, a kindergarten teacher's name, and if you were in that teacher's class last year as a kindergartner, you're going to get up and just join the line, and a teacher will lead you to a classroom where you can share your stories with your friends, okay? So first we need to, before we depart, I just want to say I'm very proud of you again. And we should thank some very special people that taught us how to be first grade writers. Who are those special people? Our teachers. So let's give them, we can give them a thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. And now, it's also good to be proud of yourselves as writers because you've accomplished a lot in this short amount of time in first grade. So you can give yourself a pat on the back. Nice job. Okay. We're going to start with Mrs. Sabarese's class. If you were in Mrs. Sabarese's class last year, you're going to come right up here.